Welcome back to the Epicurean
and the herbalist.
We're here for another episode of South Africa.
South Africa.
In our 3-part series. In our trilogy.
Yes, it is. I like that. A trilogy. That's cool. That is really cool.
All right, how you feeling today?
I feel pretty good. How about yourself?
Okay. When the weather is gray, then I feel gray.
You look great.
Do I look good?
Mm-hmm.
That's my new feeler, girl.
Oh my gosh. Well, we gonna talk about the culture. Can we talk about the culture? Start off with the culture.
The culture.
The culture.
Okay.
I want to talk a little bit about the culture in South Africa versus our culture here in America.
Okay.
One thing that interests me about the culture was that one thing, they go slow.
Can we go fast?
Maybe because I'm older.
Fast.
Yes.
Fast.
You know, we're so hyped. Everything they did was slow
So much beeping.
and easy. I had no idea what's beeping.
I like so many beeps.
I have no idea. See, this is a modern technology and everything.
I'm like,
yeah, beeps and eeps and, you know, but with them, it's like a slowness that, and I'm not saying that they don't get upset, but there's an easiness about them. We are all on the edge, like we all have been on some kind of Xanax or something, you know, the Americans, we have that wired feeling.
actually, Xanax makes you not feel.
Oh, well, maybe that. You know, whatever one that makes you feel like you're just speeding
Crack.
around. Crack? Are you sure?
Crack will make you wild.
Ooh, you don't know nothing either about nothing. Girl, you know crack. Let me see. I'm not even sure how we get on this one. Let's go back. Let's go back. We're talking about culture. Let's dive into where we're talking about culture. The culture, you can see it everywhere.
Yeah.
That's the difference. When we arrived at a major place to shop, that was all you saw. They had statues.
Mandela Square.
Yes, the kids ran out and they were looking like, oh my gosh. So there's history that's just kind of webbed into everything. We have one sign here.
That's the
we have one statue here. Martin Luther King on the corner of
Martin Luther is everywhere.
Well, I'm staying here in Las Vegas. We have that one statue of Martin Luther King.
Well, that's a whole nother topic.
But I'm saying just to remind you, you know.
Well, the problem is that we are disconnected from our culture.
I understand. So I'm saying, but for you, what was your impression getting there?
I was like, they really know their stuff.
That's what
I was like. It looks real organized.
It's part of their everyday fiber. That's
absolutely.
What I'm saying.
We're like trying to like African ancestry. That's a whole nother story. I don't even tell you about my experience with that last year. But we are trying to find ourselves. Like, I feel like African Americans, especially in America, because we're African American, duh. But anyways, I feel like we are trying to find ourselves. Like, we are on this soul searching mission, and they don't need to find themselves because they know who they are already.
There's a part A and a part B to that.
Wait, well, let me tell I finish my story.
Okay.
And I'm going to say this to say, because we were having a discussion with TT and Enoch at the hotel about African ancestry and Ancestry.com. And they were like, what? They're like, listen, if somebody has a kid somewhere or a cousin somewhere, we just get on Facebook. Somebody's cousin knows them from the village. Like, we can find them. The fact that you guys go through like these extents and these lengths to just find where you're at is like crazy.
And see, that's the difference. Their culture is still going on as community. We're broken and we don't have that. We used to have it. We used to have it.
We tired.
And we tired because, again, back when I was growing up, we had pockets in neighborhoods where a lot of moons, baby. You know what?
Okay,
we're going to send her to the cornfield. She hasn't learned enough yet. We're going to bring her back next week. Listen, the cornfield is not a bad place because you learn a lot there too. That was culture. But getting back to the culture thing, you have to understand that we had communities. We had big mamas. We had the churches.
I mean, even when we were growing up,
right,
we knew all our neighbors' first, last names, kids, cousins.
Because you had those communities. The schools were segregated to a degree because everybody that lived in your community. So our culture was different, but we band together as a people because we knew how many times you would walk home from school, you could smell when somebody was cooking.
fried chicken, actually.
I mean, no, you would name the foods though.
Yeah.
And, I know we did, and I know you guys
Yeah.
said, "Oh, somebody's cooking such and such." You could tell
Yeah.
by the aroma that was going on. You knew the foods, you knew the culture, you knew what kids to play with, who not to play with,
Right.
whatever was going on.
You still play them anyway.
Right, and you still knew whose mama was going to be an open house in the evening time for you to get snacks from.
Right.
That culture in that time period has passed.
Long gone.
Long gone. They're still in that, and they call those their villages.
Right.
So they live in a culture where they all go to the city to work, to do things, but they
in their younger years, and then their retirement is to go back to the village.
Exactly.
Which is, I think, is great.
And we're going to touch on this more, but we're going to leave it
Yeah.
at that. What about the herbs? See, I gave her the opportunity to say this.
I was trying to get some of that stuff up out of there, but you really can't do that.
That's right, because customs will kick you out.
But we went to Herbland, and I think it's in Gatton.
I don't know. I was happy.
We went. Amazing. She was in Disneyland. I mean, we all were. I just learned so much about like ancestral herbs, how they were cultivated, how they still pay homage to the healers, which was great information. We did a vortex and got grounded there. Mm-hmm. The kids ran through. They have like a whole playland for the kids, and they were all like running barefoot through there, and like Dutch, Indian. It was a melting pot of people, which was another amazing experience that we had, and glad we got to do that there.
Yeah, and there was something for everyone, because they even had a place for the children once again to play. They have a place for the children everywhere you go,
which is unlike America when you talk about culture.
Right, and they had a place for them to play. They had places for anyone to relax and spend the whole day. A restaurant there, so you're not just there. You spend the whole day, and you're not tired because you have things to relax you.
You're immersed.
You're immersed into the whole. That's another part I was going to say. Culture. They don't. When I say they don't rush, wherever you go. What about when we went to the? It was like a farmers market place. The same thing.
Yes.
Farmers market culture. They had the farmers market, but then they had music, they had food, they had places where kids can play. The whole family's involved. It's in front of a river. Same thing.
And I mean, it makes so much sense. You think about like just the world in general is built on family, right? So you would think that places would cater to that, which we break up the family here because people don't want to take their kids out. They don't want, because there's no place for them.
Right.
You know, when we were out the entire time, day and night, we were out late nights.
Yes,
we were out early if there was something for everyone to do at the same place at the same time.
And it wasn't
so everyone left fulfilled.
Yes.
You know what I mean? It wasn't like, oh, we're trying to make this a date night and have the kids and cater. It was everybody could take away from that. And that's another reason what drew me there. I'm like, oh, this is it. This is life.
It's truly life. It was an infusion of people togetherness, not you over here, your age, with frantic anger and frustration in cubicles. It was all just immersed together.
I like to kick it one more.
Sometimes you do.
Which way?
Sometimes you want to kick me to the curb. But anyway, that's another story too. How about the schools?
Schools. I have to pull my kids out of school immediately. No.
Yeah. Schools were everything.
Like my school. Shout out to Foothills Middle School.
Well, listen, they had ranges there though. They had everything from, if you wanted private schools, to all of the schools that's in the village that were also federally funded. And the kids that were in the federally funded schools, we had an opportunity. My son-in-law is an NFL pro player, and he's now retired, and he had commission. My son, excuse me, your husband. He had a couple of events that he was hosting at that time.
Yeah.
So, and my daughter put together with her consulting company, Cora Consultants put it together, and they happened to put me on the banner.
Yeah, I told them a little bit about that debuting adventures of where it started from, the beginning. Yes. So it was like all these things coming into fruition. You know what I also do like about it? My daughter's school doesn't have uniforms, but I like that all the schools, whether private or not, all has uniforms. I think it's so good because it's not a competition. Everybody's just on the same playing field, which really makes like the inner child shine. You know what I mean? They're not trying to like be the cutest and have the best outfits. It's like we're on the same playing field, and I think that was a good takeaway for me.
Yeah, and they do have that here. Now we do have that in the States. All of the schools, your children and my grandchildren, some of them in private school, but in the public schools, they do wear uniforms. A lot of them, and they choose to still. I think that's a great idea. I would, whether it's public or private, nonprofit, however you choose. I think it's because it takes the pressure off, and kids can just be kids. But these kids were full of smiles everywhere.
And songs.
Oh, the songs are so sweet and intriguing. They would sing songs. And you know what? From the schools that we were at and we attended, and I got a chance to read my books there. And my son was speaking to the children, and they bought books, and they donated shirts. But these kids were so memorable. It just was amazing. No one was having to tell them anything other than they just were polite. And I mean, these are lower grades. And you know what's so crazy? You don't see that in America. You see kids kicking, throwing you, flipping you off, not paying attention, being disrespectful. These are some of the most respectful children I've ever seen before. And guess what? It didn't not just from the community village schools, but all the way to the lifestyle when we were in Stein City. What about that school?
That's where we had it.
Yeah.
So they had an equestrian center, arts and sciences. They were just so advanced in technology.
And the kids that were out there, remember the kids that were out there? They marched in from the pool. Remember we were all eating?
Oh yeah.
And for me, I'm always looking at discipline and who's you know,
whose kids acting up.
No, I just want to see the teachers, how they look stressed. After being an educator for 35 years, owning a preschool, you look and you think like, okay, I want to see. The teachers were relaxed.
Everybody's relaxed. They were just relaxed. Guys. That is a takeaway.
They were bringing in at least 100 children, and the children ranged from being Dutch to African to Indian and Chinese, and they were all just talking, walking in with their little paddle boards, quiet and tired from the day activities at this big place. And the teachers looked the same way, like, oh, we'll be doing this again tomorrow. You know, there was. I said, what peace?
What peace?
That's what it was. It was peace.
Yeah. That was the biggest takeaway of the whole trip.
No, the nature. Let's talk about nature before you say that. I know,
but it was. I'm trying to say that my part of it was the peace of it, and your part is the nature part because you like nature.
No, you gonna come right back and say, watch her. Say when I say the nature, that she will be saying, you know what? Now that was it for me. The nature was out of this world. We're talking about the safaris.
Well, wait, I was a little bit scared. Okay, because now them lions got a little close for comfort for me. But they were so cute and big.
See, there we go. Now here's the real one. Oh, look at them.
They were cute.
And they were cute
and scary. Things can be cute and scary at the same
time. And
what
were they, dingoes or hyenas?
No, I didn't like them either. Them wild dogs.
Yeah, there was. But the lions,
first of all, are so skillful, great hunters, which I didn't know about that. Mm-hmm. So that obviously scared me. But it was so good. And again, the whole family went. The kids really did not have any fear. Shout out to my sons, the junior and photographers, because they got a lot of footage, King and Sky.
Yeah. Their papa taught them on.
Oh yeah, he had everybody on duty. Okay, we were working like a drill sergeant.
Yes.
So we have tons of footage that we will try to jam pack in these 3 episodes. Yeah. So that you can get a little preview of that.
Yeah. Poppy, my husband, is a videographer, and he takes pictures everywhere. We never have to worry about not having the footage and the film that we need.
You gotta get it from.
Look, I was sweating when we got through customs. When we got to customs, of course, you know, and my husband is a vet and disabled, so when he walked through, they didn't give him a problem. I had his luggage, his equipment. They stopped me and they pat me from the head to toe. I had a turban. I was like, what did I do? But I had all of his camera equipment, but that's another story.
Yeah.
But the nature was out of this world for everyone. That drive was so peaceful. I don't think any of us expected to. It wasn't just the landscape, you know.
And it was cold too in the morning.
Yeah, but it didn't last.
It was real cold. No, it didn't last because we were scared. Okay, that's called adrenaline.
The adrenaline rush, yeah. But by the time we got back in town,
It was warm.
Yeah. So then, and they tell you to go out on these drives. It's best to go out early because then you'll catch them move and still in movement. Because later in the day, a lot of these, the big five and the ones that you want to see, the big animals,
game, it's too hot.
It's too hot, yeah. Because they hunt at night a lot. So in the daytime, they're resting.
It looked like they hunt all day.
They did, but they didn't bother us. And we had an excellent driver. We had a private tour. We had the whole
private everything.
We did. We had private everything. So it was top notch all the way through.
Thanks.
And I enjoyed it, and I know you enjoyed it, and I think all of our family did.
We did.
So that was the second part to our trip, and unfortunately we have to cut it short again today. But we will be back next week. Be sure to like and subscribe, and we'll see you next time.
Next time.
One finger. Take care.